Thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on Archive D-Style here. I'm being joined by Calix. What's going on, Calix?
I'm here. I'm in the building. I'm ready to talk some boxing.
Absolutely. You know, I want to make sure everyone listening on Archive or live that you utilize the jab to the like button. It sets everything up, right? In fact, Floyd Mayweather Sr. agrees. He does. Check it out.
Look, man, you can knock this son of a bitch out right now. Now quit wasting time, man. Use your fucking jab, man. Use your jab.
Right, use your jab. I know Calix utilizes the jab to the like button, right?
I definitely utilize the jab to the like button. So does Jack Lowe, by the way, multiple times.
Well, you don't want to hit it multiple times because then you like it and then unlike. You know?
True.
You don't want to double jab it. It sets everything up, right? It gets, you know, when videos pop up, videos related to this or whatever, you know, your video is more likely to come up when people like it. So take that moment, throw a jab at that like button, sets up the hook to the subscribe button. It sets up the uppercut to the bell button. Make sure you hit that. That way you're notified every time DStyleBoxing comes on live. Check it out. Check this out. I want to first address the $1 initiative. $1, 4 quarters a month, right? This is an unofficial Patreon, right? But whoever can, just donate $1 to the DStyleBoxing Fund. You can do it through a super chat. You can do it through PayPal, right? At DStyleBoxing@gmail.com. It's just $1. It supports the channel. It supports some of my time that I invest in this channel. And what do I bring to this channel? I bring 4 live shows, 10 p.m. Eastern time, sometimes a little earlier, right? But you could always catch it on archive. I bring play-by-plays during the weekend. Okay, I bring Sunday live feeds for you with boxing stories. I do translation videos for you. I do boxing short stories for you, right? That's all I asked, $1. What do you think about the $1 initiative, Kelly?
I think it's a good thing. Give $1. Give $2 if you can.
$1. Look, I'm not even kidding, man. If every subscriber might give $1, dude, I could quit my job, bro. But not everybody has to do it. Whoever can, when you can. You're not even, you know, when you can, whatever. But I just want to throw that out there. $1 initiative, right? With that said, the polls, Calix, Frotch was so close. I mean, he was like right there.
So close. So close. And I made my play last week and it worked. It got him over 20%. Then I made a last minute push with some people I knew. They came on the channel. They went on a community link. They voted. He came so close. He even went up by 1% in the polls. He got up to like 28, 29%, was leading. And then Cotto made that last push. Shout out to my boy Cotto. You know,
right.
I'm glad if somebody was going to win it, he won it. But I knew Frotch had to get it this time. This was my last push. You know, and he's going to have other opportunities, obviously, but I knew this was my push, my opportunity to get him over the top, but didn't get it done.
Absolutely. All right. I see someone just put that Canelo offered on Andre to fight too. I haven't looked at that. Reported by ESPN. That's interesting. We're going to talk Canelo in a little bit. But really quick, Maidana won the poll, Calix. What did you think about that? Not impressed by his performance?
I would have rather some other people, but I was a fan of Maidana. He always brought it. In the Broner fight, you know, just the Broner fight alone, he gave us a special night that night. A special night. That was just a fun night of boxing.
Well, we're definitely going to talk about that fight a little later in the hour. Right now, just to finish talking about the polls, those that don't know, all you got to do is go to DStyleBoxing. All right? Go to the community tab. Scroll down, and you will see it. You will see the 3-way dance right now going on with Miguel Cotto, Bernard the Executioner Hopkins, and Timothy Desert Storm Bradley. I mean, they're 34%, 34%, 32% respectively. I mean, it's close. Razor thin.
Vote for Cotto.
Vote for Cotto. Well, this is Bradley's fifth
Right.
week. Bradley's only got 2 weeks to advance, Calix.
Yeah, but vote for Cotto.
Vote for Cotto anyway. That who you voted for, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Well, there you go. And remember, Monday I did a show with Haplotype. Make sure you guys check that out. And yesterday I talked about 2 Mexican prospects, all right, as well as some other Canelo talk. And you guys can check that one out from yesterday as well on archive. The qualifier really quick before we get to the big topics. Ronald Wright, 25%. Cobra Frats, 14%. El Terrible Morales is 44%. And Paul the Punisher Williams with 18%, Calix. Who did you vote for in that poll?
You know who I voted for, Carl Frotch. But some good names in that one. Paul Williams, shout out to Paul Williams. He was one of my favorite fighters when he was active, especially at 147. He was just a beast, and I'll always remember his fight with Margarito at the Home Depot Center out in Carson, California. That was just a beautiful fight. Those 2 guys went to war with each other. 2 of the most avoided fighters, not most avoided, 2 of the most, but the most avoided fighters at that time. Pound for pound, 2 of the most avoided fighters at that time. So just a fight. Paul Williams gave us a lot of great memories.
Absolutely. Monty Brown TV in chat says salute to D-Style. And again, DJ Mexicano de Tejas. I know a lot of people are expecting the show later, but you guys can always catch it on archive. Calix, it's rumored that Kovalev turned down $5 million to fight Canelo Alvarez. Not to mention the upside, you know, in terms of putting his name out there even more, especially if he wins. What do you think about that?
Estúpido. Look, I know they wanted to, from what I read yesterday, was that he was going to fight Yardy. They were going to make that fight, Yardy, out overseas. They were going to make that fight, but they were going to give him an out. He was going to be able to pay them some step-aside money if the Canelo fight became a real thing. But so apparently it became a real thing, and they're still not doing it. From what Main Events is saying, that they can't come to terms with them this quickly. I'm not sure if it has something to do with weight or whatever, but $5 million, you're getting the biggest name in boxing. You're fighting a guy who, yes, he's very good, great against taller opposition, all that. But Kovalev's not afraid of anybody. He's not the type of guy to be afraid of anybody. He is a head case, but he's not afraid of anybody, especially a guy 2 weight classes lower than him that everybody wants to fight with.
Right.
I don't know if he's worried about them talking about. I'm sure Canelo is going to be a weight bully here, which he's the ace. He has every right to. He's going to make Kovalev come down to 169 for a fight for the 175-pound title. But I don't know, man. This is a big payday, and it's a guy 2 weight classes lower than you, and you're a heavy hitter at 175. Come on, man. Take the fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think
take the fight.
Not to mention, Cal, not only that, but just the more people are going to know who Kovalev is after that fight. You know,
correct.
So it's not just the money; it's the upside and the money from the back end that you're going to get if you win that fight, and you have an excellent chance of winning that fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like you said, you said on my channel the other day, it is a random fight, but
yes,
it's a random fight that people would want, that people would get excited about. I believe people would back this fight. It is intriguing on both sides. Like I said, Canelo would bring an advantage to the table in that he has no issues getting inside against taller guys. He'll dig to the body, and we know Kovalev does not like when people go to the body on him. And Canelo also, he fights better when he doesn't have to worry about the weight. So he won't have to worry about making weight in this one. And also, it makes sense for Kovalev. Like I said, he's a 175-pounder, big 175-pound puncher. He's going to fight a guy coming up in weight, and he's fighting the biggest name in boxing. So to me, it just made sense. Do whatever you have to do to make the fight, concede whatever you have to concede, and try to get this big fight. Instead, you're going to go fight Yardy, whatever his name is, out on the other side of the pond. I don't know, man. It doesn't make this opportunity may not come along again.
I don't think it is.
Right.
I don't think it's going to come again for him. Look, I just think it's a random ass fight, and I want to see the best in the division fight the best in the division. I've always been consistent about that. It's just a random ass fight to me. I honestly don't, even though I think he's just from his perspective, I think it's a dumb decision. But from a boxing fan's perspective, I just want to see Canelo, not Mungia, but you know, an Andre or something like that, or I'd rather him fight Triple G again than fight Kovalev. You know, but
yeah, and this whole September 14th date, it's been a mess so far, right? I mean, look at the three names we saw pop up today. I mean, Canelo's like Oprah at this point. Oh, you get a invitation, you get an invitation, you get an invitation. Like, who the hell is he gonna fight? You know, I don't. I'd like to see it out of the guys named. I'd like to see it be Andre, although he's not a fun fighter to watch. He's more of the cut from what we've seen on Canelo's resume so far. He's more cut from the Lara Trout type of cloth, in that he'll be able to give Canelo some issues. That's for sure. But it won't be as an interesting.
It would be an
entertaining fight.
It is intriguing. It is an intriguing. To me, it's an intriguing fight.
No doubt. There's no doubt.
I mean,
and Andre gets the shot that he's been wanting.
Yeah. But I mean, I enjoy watching Andre fight, but I get what you mean. A lot of people don't, right? I've always felt the same way. That with Rigondeaux, I enjoyed watching him, but I understood why a lot of people didn't like watching him fight. You know,
right?
I never got to ask you last week. Well, what did you think about Rigondeaux slugging it out?
Well, we've seen that from Rigondeaux in the past. He fought that Japanese cat a couple years ago, and that was a war. And he went life and death with that guy. I forget the guy's name. He fought. It was his second fight on TV. He went to the UK and blasted him out in like the first or second round. So he's done that before. He's let his hands go, which is weird. And then all of a sudden he'll fight other fights like Donaire, where he barely throws any punches, and he still won pretty much every round against Donaire. And you know, obviously he laid an egg against Lomachenko, but I think it's more of you saw that with Winky Wright late in his career, where you saw Winky Wright against Jermaine Taylor. When his reflexes slowed down and guys were getting off against him, he had no choice but to throw more punches, be more active, be more an offensive fighter in order to win rounds. Yeah. So maybe that's what we'll see from Rigo late in his career, is he'll be a more exciting fighter.
Or Hopkins versus Pacquiao, you know?
Yep.
Like after the fight, Hopkins swore he was trying to make it more exciting. I just think his reflexes weren't that good anymore, and he was getting hit.
Yep.
That's what I think.
That's exactly right.
Mayweather, Maidana, I just think he was getting hit more than he should have, you know, in my opinion.
Yep.
So now there's a little bit of since we don't have clarification, because Batman tweeted saying that there was no offer. It's just that I guess Canelo was quoted saying he's considering fighting Andre, but there's no offer that's been made from what I understand, from what I gather. So we're not even going to talk about that. But
well, it sounds like he's considering damn near everybody. He's going to be considering DStyleBoxing tomorrow. I mean, you might get a payday. But
give me $5 million, bro. I'll do it. Yeah,
he says in the chat that Mungia is not ready for Canelo. I'm probably butchering his name, and I think he's right on that too. And I think that would be a very easy. That probably out of all these guys, that'd be the easiest fight for Canelo. A guy who is going to be there for him to hit. A guy who he'll likely stop. And he looked terrible in his last fight. I think that was a couple months ago against Hogan. He looked terrible right in that fight. So that would probably be the easiest fight. So if he's looking for a stay busy fight in September, I just have from what I was hearing from the jump was Triple G was going to be the fight. They were only hung up on location, but we've come a long way from then.
Yeah, the whole shit's loony, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. You know, one moment they make it sound like Canelo's ready to move up in weight. The next moment, you know, they want to stay in the weight. I got no clue. I say just get the Triple G thing out of the way. That's what I say. You know, or fight Charlo, or fight, Andre. And I think that's just the way to go, in my opinion. But I don't think they're convinced about anything right now.
Nope, doesn't sound like it. But I know he will be fighting September 14th because I know they're not going to come off that date.
Yeah, they're obsessed with that date, you know.
Understandably so.
Yeah, but I mean, I just think it's an over exaggeration that you got to do it in that weekend, you know. But that's me. With that said, what do you think if Canelo fights Mungia? What do you think about that fight?
If Canelo fights who?
Mungia.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's an easy fight for him.
Yeah.
Easy fight. He looked terrible in his last fight a couple months ago. Just a guy who is going to be there for him to hit, loads up on his shots, and Canelo is just going to sneak shots in between all those wide punches. And a guy who has come down to earth from what they were expecting. He's not going to reach the potential that they thought he was at some point, unless this was just a bad showing for him. But the past couple of fights, I just haven't been that impressed with him. And he is one of those guys like Chavez Jr., who's going to be there to be hit. We saw what Canelo did to him. So that's one of those guys who it'll be exciting while it lasts, but Canelo will stop him somewhere between like 4 and 6, somewhere around there.
I think it looks like the Angulo fight to me all over again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
Chavez
even a Kirkland fight.
Something like that. Except Chavez Jr. was a lot bigger.
It was a lot bigger for sure.
He could take a punch.
Christian NWO says never underestimate a Mexican warrior, Calix.
I mean, who are we talking about there? Canelo?
Mungia.
Because Canelo's a Mexican warrior too. So, I don't know. I'm underestimating Mungia here.
Guys that get hit too easy just are tailor-made for Canelo. I mean, it's just the way it is.
That he looks incredible against those guys. Yeah. Incredible.
You know, like there's guys that like fold under pressure against those guys, but Canelo's not one of those guys.
Chavez Jr., Kirkland, Angulo, anybody, Vladimir, anybody throughout his career who is there in front of him, he just looks incredible. He looks like the best fighter in the world against those guys. Now, and Andre, like I said, that presents a different issue. Although I think Canelo is much lighter and much better on his feet and movement than he was 5-6 years ago. But we saw it with Trout. We saw it with Lara, although Lara just basically ran the whole time. I wasn't impressed with what Lara did in that fight. He wasn't throwing enough punches. But Lara, Trout, Mayweather, any of those guys, it was more of a challenge for Canelo because it was more of a moving target. That's where we want to see Canelo with Andre to see if he's really improved that much against guys like that.
Now we have a shout out to AJ10. AJ, I need a fact check on this. If it's true that Canelo gave an offer to Andre, if possible, right? I have a fact checker now, Alex, like for live on the air.
Nice. I like that.
We're slowly growing. We're slowly growing. But anyway, man, oh man, I don't know, man. You know, this isn't really a belt gone wild, but it is like something about these commissions, bro. And we're gonna dive into we're gonna segue into the Pacquiao Thurman with this, but what do you think of this whole that they're gonna test the refs?
Well, I don't know about the refs. I think the refs are fine.
The judges.
It's more from what I'm understanding, they're drug testing everyone involved in the fight, which would include the judges, I'm assuming. So I think that's a very good idea because we've seen many fights where we're like, that judge was definitely high on something there. So I'm all for drug testing the judges.
First of all, they have these 80-year-old men, right?
Just think about Adelaide Bird. How many times he thought that Adelaide Bird was high on ecstasy or something?
Well, she's like, what is she, like in her 70s or something?
I don't know what she is.
And they're putting these these dudes without shirts on in the ring. I don't know, man. She's distracted. Right? And then you got these 80-year-old dudes, okay, with looking at 20-year-old girls in bikinis and shit, holding up ring cards, the rounds and shit. I don't know, man. They're on blood pressure medicine. They're looking at these half-naked women. I don't think they're in a state of mind to be judging a professional boxing fight.
I just don't understand why we can't get newer, more competent judges. Like, seriously, is there a shortage of people who can judge and watch and judge fights and judge them correctly? To me, there's not. I see unofficial scorecards all the time that are much.
I see a bunch of fighters with nothing to do and shit. They're broke. Like, hire them to like score a fight. You know.
Right. I don't understand, man.
But a lot of them are doctors, Calix. Have you noticed that? Doctor this and doctor that. Like that makes them qualified to judge a fight.
Yeah, but to me, there's got to be a better system. But we've spoken about that.
Right.
We're blue in the face before. I mean, it is what it is at this point. But I'm definitely for drug testing judges. There's no doubt about that. Referee, we're not going to have as much of an issue with. We don't have.
Gotta eye test them.
Yeah, we don't have the issues with referees as much as we do with the judges. Unless it's your boy in Texas. His name slips my mind right now, but he is.
Yeah, but you know what? They need to make them take like those tests that test how quickly you process information and stuff like that. Because a lot of these guys, I look at just by looking, and I don't want to be prejudiced against old dudes, okay? Because if Lord willing, I'll be there one day, but unless I die young, But that's not what I'm trying to be at all. God bless old people, okay? But a lot of them shouldn't be judging fights, and I don't think they have I don't want to be mean, but dude, they don't got the reflexes to drive, and they sure as hell don't have the reflexes to judge a boxing fight.
Right. Well, you have to pass some sort of test, you would think, because Harold Letterman was a damn good referee. I mean, judge still.
Yeah.
Was unofficial, but that leads to my next question: is should we have judges off-site and not just standing with bad angles? Should judges be watching it on TV like we do, and you can see pretty much every angle? I mean, you get
on TV with no commentary.
Right, with no commentary.
Yeah.
Shoot it. Have somebody else stand in there with the judge. Have them sit, watch, separate rooms, no sound, and I'd be for that because I think they get a better look, better angles. They wouldn't be swayed by the crowd noise by a hometown fighter. So I would definitely be for off-site judges.
I agree. I'm all for that as well. What brings me to this, speaking of drug testing, we'll segue to the Pacquiao Thurman. Just give it an early look here. Man. I saw a lot of fake outrage a couple weeks ago, man. This whole I saw it all over Twitter. Oh, they're not doing data testing for this fight. And my thing is, and I know I think they're going to do it now, but if both fighters were down to fight, and I've always said this, if both fighters are all right, then let them fight, bro. It's a non-issue at that point.
Yep, that's how I feel too. If neither one of them wants to do VADA, if neither one of them wants to do drug testing at all, let them not do it. That's how I feel. There's two guys going in there, but I've always said from the beginning, I'm so sick of hearing about the drug test, VADA, WADA, USADA, NADA, whatever it is.
RUSADA, too.
Yeah, USADA, whatever it is. I'm so sick of hearing about it because drug testing ruined so many good fights, fell through because of drug testing and fighters not agreeing or promoters not agreeing on which system to use and all this stuff. I just got frustrated because at the end of the day, it did nothing. It did nothing to me. Fights fell through.
Well,
fighters.
We can't blame the drug testing for busting cheaters, right? I mean,
but here's my point. Let's say Andre Berto fails multiple drug tests, and
he still fought.
I mean, he gets.
I agree with that.
He still fights. He might get. He says, "Oh, I just got something at GNC over the counter." Everybody forgives him. He still gets a big fight in his next fight with Mayweather. I mean, this stuff happened. I mean, Mosley. I mean, this stuff happened to multiple fighters.
In fairness to Mosley, never failed the test.
Right, but true. True. But look at Morales, failed multiple drug tests. The Garcia fight still went on. I mean, to me, the drug testing, if you're not going to enforce it, if you're not going to have strict enforcement, what the hell are we doing anyway? If all it is, oh, he failed the drug test, so let's see if we can throw him some money to still get him in the ring. Oh, he can't fight for the title, but we're going to throw the opponent some money so we can still fight, and let's still have the fight. To me, it doesn't mean anything. And I'm sick of drug testing, canceling fights, getting fights not made because this fighter doesn't want to fight for under VADA, and this fighter doesn't want to fight under USADA. To me, it became more like Bloods and Crips, the Bloods and Crips of drug testing, and it was stopping fights. It was too much of an obstacle. So
another thing too, man, like they were looking out for certain fighters, and they would only release information about some fighters. So it's definitely an issue. I agree with that. They don't enforce it. Guys get busted, and in boxing, I mean, what's a 6-month suspension in boxing? I mean, it's nothing. These guys only fight twice a year.
Yeah, and not only that, you might have a 6-month suspension in one state. Nevada Commission might suspend you for 6 months. Well, guess what? Texas is going to have no issue granting you a license. But if they don't, let's say everybody in all the 50 states do, you can go to Mexico and fight, or Puerto Rico, or wherever your home country is.
It is a nuanced issue. Would you agree with that?
Yes, it's too much. There are too many obstacles in the way. It's too complex for fights to be not made over it, in my opinion. To me, it just hurts the fans. It's not hurting the fighters. It's hurting the fans.
Yeah, it's hurting the fans. It's hurting the sport. But the fact is, I see a lot of people trying to do this whole moral superiority thing over this thing. All the people I saw on social media complaining, oh my God, this fight has no VADA. How could these two guys fight without VADA testing? Like, what are we like? What if both guys agreed to the fight? Then they agreed to the fight, and that's it.
Whatever they agreed to. If they're both fine with no drug testing, if they're both fine with health, going in there with one arm tied behind each other's back, whatever they agreed to, as long as they think it's a fair fight, that's fine with me. I'm fine without VADA. I don't.
If Thurman wants to take his best shit, and Pacquiao wants to take his best shit, let him go at it. Fuck it. I'm just being honest. Now, granted, like I said, it's a nuanced issue. So if there's a fighter, let's say Deontay Wilder wants testing, and for you to fight him, you have to agree to that testing, I'm okay with that, right? But if two fighters say, okay, let's fight, why is the media coming out here and trying to be like this whole, like, we're above, we have this moral high ground because we're against fights that are dirty? Like, what does that even mean?
I'm not understanding it either. Unless they want VADA strictly across the board, and maybe they're mad because two guys with a big name aren't going along with whatever they think is right for boxing. But I mean, who's to say what's right for boxing and what's wrong? I don't know. Like I said, this is a complex issue. I tend to think sometimes I take a more libertarian approach to this and say we'd almost have a fairer, more level playing field if we didn't do drug testing at all. Because to me, it seems like, okay, fighter A is a multimillionaire. He's fighting fighter B, who is an up-and-coming fighter who's maybe getting paid $250,000 in this fight, and they agree to VADA. Well, maybe the fighter who's making $250,000, who's an up-and-coming fighter, doesn't have the resources in order to get around VADA testing and take drugs. But maybe the fighter who's making $10 million per fight has a more complex system set up to where he can get around VADA testing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it is a complex issue. I've always been a firm believer, right, that if two fighters, I'm like Shane Mosley. Like, remember, I don't know if you remember this, Alex, when they asked Shane Mosley, what did you think about Margarito, like loading up his gloves, right? And of course he said, yeah, well, that was messed up, right? But then he said, and look, if they let me do the same shit, I'll be okay with it. That's what he said. He's like, give me what you got and we'll fight, you know? You know, and if two fighters say, like Marquez, Pacquiao, both dudes knew what was up, right? In the fourth fight.
Yeah.
They knew, like, I'm going to bring my best shit and you bring your best shit. We'll see who has the best shit, right? Like, I don't know what to call them in the streets, bro. I got the blue diamond, you got the red dragon. Let's go.
Exactly. I'm with you.
You know, they both agreed.
The loaded gloves, though, that to me is something completely different.
Of course.
I saw a bunch of people at the time when the whole drug testing thing was getting big, and this was around the same time Margarito was loading his gloves, and they were actually comparing the two. And I get that to a certain extent, but at the same time, loading up your gloves with cement, plaster of Paris, that to me is just something unforgivable. And if you're caught doing that, to me, you should be banned for life. That's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, and he wasn't banned for life. He got the biggest paydays of his career after that.
Correct.
I couldn't believe it when he fought.
The argument is they never caught him actually in the ring with the loaded gloves.
And I understand why Cotto had to do it, but I hate the fact that he gave him a rematch, guys. I hate it.
Yeah.
But he had to do it because he had to prove to people he could beat this guy. That's the only reason he did it.
Yep.
Right, but that's another story. Well, if we have a Cotto Appreciation Week, we'll definitely talk a lot about that. I want to give a shout out to Bam Bam Tweed with that super chat. It says, deserves more than $1 a week. We can all do this. Absolutely. What's 4 quarters? You guys got 4 quarters easily. Right there in your car somewhere. Easily. Under the couch.
Easily.
All right? Just saying. Buy one less, Snicker bar a week. Right?
That's all it is. Two Coke cans, 12-ounce Coke cans. That's it. Just give that up.
I'll tell you what, man, I wish I would have known, bro. I would have bought Snickers stock before Danny Ruiz fight. Because those sales went up.
I should have bought stock in Andy Ruiz. What he was going for before that fight and the odds, I missed out on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. There was some dudes in the underground boxing here that call that, but man, unbelievable.
I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see it.
All right. With that said, man, Pacquiao Thurman, what do you think now? How do you think that fight's gonna go, Callie? Well, what's your early thoughts leading into that fight, and what do you think of the promotion so far?
I don't know what to say about the promotion. I know that Thurman's promoting it by showing us his workout tapes. He's been on the bike. He's been doing some all sort of calisthenics and special push-ups, and he's certainly got the Rocky thing going as far as social media. But as far as the actual fight, a very intriguing fight. I would call it 50-50. To me, it all depends on, is Pacquiao going to get old in the ring overnight? I still think, from what I've seen, although it's been against lesser opposition as of late, Pacquiao still has enough to beat a guy like Thurman. I just don't think, I'm not as high on Thurman as other people are. I don't know where you come out on that. I just think he's been lackluster as of his past several performances, and I think it's been 4 years since he's had a stoppage. Is that correct? Something like that.
Yeah,
he's not one-time Thurman anymore.
Yeah, he's not one time. Once upon a time,
I actually thought that Porter edged him out in that fight. I may be in the minority there, but I actually thought that Porter edged him out, and I didn't think he looked all that good against Danny Garcia, and I don't think that much of Danny Garcia either. Yeah,
Danny's okay, but listen to the word I said, okay. As I will say this, man, like the biggest win of Danny Garcia's, his biggest wins, they were impressive, right? Him beating Matisse was pretty good.
That was a good win for him.
That was a good win, but it was a lot closer than people act like it was. And if we're honest, bro, I mean, Amir Khan was boxing circles around him before he caught him.
He did catch him, though.
No, but my point is, it tells you a lot about his skills, right? His boxing skills.
Right.
He gets away. He's gotten away with his power a lot. I forget the name of that one dude that roughed him up and arguably won. I forget his name. Man, I can't remember the dude's name. But he struggled. Yeah, there you go. He struggled against Morales, bro. How do you struggle against Morales at that point in Morales' career?
But he struggled against Mauricio Herrera big time, and
I think Herrera won that fight.
I believe that was the fight in Puerto Rico. I thought he lost that fight.
Oh, that's right.
That was directly after the Matisse fight. I thought that you could say he lost the Lamont Peterson fight as well. Many people thought that Lamont Peterson beat him in that fight. Keith Thurman fought him, although he fought Thurman close. And then Sean Porter beat him as well. So I'm not as high on Danny Garcia. But just getting back to Keith Thurman, I just haven't seen him progress over the years. And he's been inactive, been quite inactive. I just haven't seen him progress since those days when he was fighting Soto Carras's and Julio Diaz's, and he's just beating these guys up, and he's one-time Thurman, and he's showing good movement, he's showing good lateral movement, but I don't think the punching power on that elite level against guys like Porter or Garcia, I don't think it's come up with him. So that's why against Josito Lopez, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, I wasn't all that impressed with him, to be honest. And it has been 4 years.
Here's the damning part about it. The damning part about it for Thurman is, I mean, he made his name being one time, right? He's been in the same division. You know, like it's not like Pacquiao was destroying dudes, knocking them out, and when he went up 4 or 5 weight classes later, he wasn't knocking people out. Like Mayweather, he was knocking dudes out at 130, and then once he went up to 147, then you kind of saw him have to outbox guys. In Thurman's case, it wasn't even going up the weight class. It was just going up in class, like going up in as far as, like you said, against world-class fighters. It's all of a sudden the power isn't there. I also saw him, you know, in the last kind of quarter of the fight with Collazo. He was struggling a little bit. Against Robert Guerrero, the last 2 rounds, he was kind of just... That's
what I was going to say, too. He has fading issues. And it showed up against Porter and Garcia as well. It's like, what's going to happen if Pacquiao doesn't age overnight? I understand Pacquiao's, 70 fights in at this point, something like that? So what happens if, and this is a big if, what happens if Pacquiao is still close to what he was? Let's say Pacquiao is still throwing a lot of punches in rounds 10, 11, 12. Thurman's going to have to put a lot of padding in those early rounds and win those early rounds and put them in the bank in order to hold Pacquiao off in this fight because he fades. He fades. So and I understand, look, Thurman hasn't seen anything close to Pacquiao as far as a guy. The only guy I can say is close to him as far as being a relentless fighter and an active fighter in there is Sean Porter, who always comes at you. But also Pacquiao hasn't seen anything really close to Thurman as of late. Broner, Matisse, Jeff Horn, Jesse Vargas, those are his opponents since the Bradley fight. I would say those guys are on that second tier or even third tier. So I would put Thurman on that top tier. So we'll see what Pacquiao brings to the table. This is going to be a different fighter than what we've seen of him fighting as of late, because Broner is there to be hit, Matisse is there to be hit. Jeff Horn was somewhat of a lateral mover, but for the most part was there to be hit. So we'll see what he can do with the lateral movement of Keith Thurman and if that could bother him.
I do want to give a shout out to Batman Tweet. He says, Calix, you must be showing your age. Coke cans are more than 50 cents each now. But
I know. I think they're up to 75, something like that. Maybe
probably 80 cents now.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Shout out to Tim Gallego. Shout out to Christian. NWO says, I think PEDs is worse than putting on clean your hand wraps. More power, more speed, more stamina versus a harder fist. PEDs are deadly. Any response, Alex?
No, I mean, possibly. And look, I'm not going to say they're not. All I'm saying is it's a complex issue. There's no question they have an effect. Just look at baseball. Just look at the home run era. Guys were hitting 70 home runs. Even average hitters were hitting, 50 home runs or whatever. And it affects some things more than others as well, because pitchers were even on PEDs, but they were still getting knocked out the park. So it's just a complex issue. But I do not agree that it's more dangerous than putting cement basically in your gloves. I do not agree with that at all.
Yeah, plus who's to say Margarito wasn't also on PEDs, plus the cement? You know, it's not like
you got a double whammy.
Yeah. So it's not one not exclusive to the other. Got to keep that in mind. You know, you can check the wraps and make sure that's not loaded. Whereas the PEDs is just, like I said, more complex. I want to just close out here with some Marcos Maidana. Calix, early in his career, before he got with Robert Garcia, it was pretty much just a come-forward brawler. I mean, he kind of always was a brawler, even Maidana 2.0. But, I mean, I rarely saw him throw a jab at times, okay, in the early part of his career. Do you remember the Khan fight?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this guy was just coming forward, really. I remember him coming. I mean, Khan hit him with the best body shot Khan through his whole career.
The first fight I can remember is the Victor Ortiz fight, when he just snatched Victor Ortiz's soul in that fight. And then I remember the KO fight, Top Corley. I remember all those fights. After the Victor Ortiz fight, I kept a close eye on Maidana, because you just saw the power was undeniable. And Victor Ortiz was supposed to win that fight. I mean, Victor Ortiz was the up-and-coming guy. Yeah. I think he only had one loss at that point earlier on in his career. And Victor Ortiz was supposed to be the next guy. He was supposed to be the next cash cow. And Maidana just took his soul that night. And he was never the same after that. And then the Khan fight, who else did he Broner was the one, though. And I'm surprised that he cut his career short, never fought again after the second Mayweather fight. But from what I understand, he was happy after the paydays to go and enjoy his life. Yeah. A lot of money down there. So I actually thought that first Mayweather fight was close. He gave Mayweather probably the best fight of Mayweather's late career. I mean, would you agree with that? In that first fight, as far as close fight, as far as winning rounds, you could argue he won.
I was in shock watching that fight.
Yeah, I saw people who actually had Maidana edging Mayweather out in that fight. I saw some draws.
I scored a draw.
Yeah, so that was a close fight. In the second fight, Mayweather basically just clinched his way and used his lateral movement in that fight, and won that fight going away. Won it pretty easy. But that first fight that was a dog fight. He almost pulled that one off. But the Broner fight was the special one. And that was.
Well, I want to talk about that fight, because the lead up to that fight was very similar to the Ortiz fight.
Yep.
Maidana was not there to win, and he was a heavy underdog. And the truth is, usually I think that when a fighter moves from one trainer to the other, people tend to over-exaggerate how a fighter improved, because they chop down an opposition and they look like $1 million. People are like, oh my God, he looks so good with this trainer. But in this case, I do believe Maidana improved. I mean, I saw Maidana all of a sudden was utilizing jabs, and he was feinting to the body and then going upstairs. I mean, he was just doing a good job with that. And the one punch that sticks out to me, I mean, just the cerebralness of it, was in that first round. I noticed he was stuffing Mayweather's work, and and I thought to myself, okay, maybe Maidana has a shot here. He's going to just try to outwork Broner, which you can do, right?
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
And I noticed he was throwing like thunderous body shots, and Broner was doing such a good job blocking them. And I was like, well, Maidana's just trying to outwork him. But that was just to set up what happened. I believe it was the second or third round. I mean, he feinted to the body, and Broner put his elbows down, ready to block the body shot, and he came upstairs, bro. And it was just a beautiful shot, and he dropped, and Broner fell and against the ropes. It changed the whole fight.
Yeah. Yep. But speaking about the lead up to that fight,
yep.
It was that way not only because Broner was undefeated, and look, we know that activity alone can beat Broner, but you still say, okay, it's an undefeated fighter against a guy who, you got to remember, I believe he was pretty much shut out against Devin Alexander.
Yep.
Rose Maidana. He looked terrible against Devin Alexander. I mean, he just looked like he could not find Devin Alexander in there at all. Alexander had an easy night against Maidana. And then they built Maidana back up by fighting guys who were pretty much in front of him, with the exception of maybe Josito Lopez. He had Soto Carras, believe was the fight after. I don't remember who the other one was. And then Josito Lopez. So you say, okay, I still don't think much of Maidana coming into that fight. So, I don't know. I could see him beating up Broner, but I don't know. But the way he did it, and it was just a shock how he beat him up. He just straight up beat him up and pretty much mocked him the whole time. Mocked him the whole night. I mean, they were brushing his hair after the fight. I mean, they pretty much just punked him. And it was a fun night in that it reminded me of like when Barrera beat up Hamed. It was just like exposing a guy. It was not only beating him, it was exposing him. And this guy isn't what you thought he is. This is who he is. That's what he did to him that night.
Well, ironically, and I want to remind everybody to throw a jab at that like button. I want to give a shout out to Scrapbook Boxing, amazing channel. Great storyteller, man. Collected a bunch of pictures, and you got to check it out. I can't explain it to you. You have to actually watch it. It's an unbelievable channel. I discovered it just a couple weeks ago. Great channel. If you haven't checked it out, Callis, you got to check it out. But man, the way he went in that ring, bro, and snatched Broner's O was unbelievable, man. I do got to give Broner credit. He did stay. I mean, he took it. You know what I mean? And he, what
I've always said about Broner, though, is he's sort of an odd guy in that, he's a flashy guy. Yeah, he's very flawed. We've been saying that about him for years. I remember dropping a video on my channel way back in like 2013, 2014, saying that Terrence Crawford's the guy we need to be looking out for, not as much for Broner. But the thing you say about Broner is he has heart. He has a chin. He wants to fight guys. So he's in there. He fought Pacquiao. He fought Mikey Garcia. He fought, and of course he's missed weight. He's weight bullied. He's done all those things. Yeah, but he's been in there with guys. He fought Sean Porter. He almost knocked Sean Porter out in that 12th round, by the way. He was getting.
Yeah, he's always dangerous.
Right. What's that?
I mean, he's dangerous with that hook.
He's dangerous with the hook. Yeah, he's not very active in there. He's flat-footed. I never understood the Mayweather comparison. Never got it because he's terrible with the shoulder roll.
Do you think that hurt his career trying to emulate Floyd?
Yeah, they were pushing that hard, and he gets hit a lot. And he's not a good counterpuncher either. Broner is really good, I would say, possibly even great when he's active, when he lets his hands go, but he can only do it for like 30 seconds a round, and then he goes into his low, and that's when you get him. And Malignaggi is the one who set that blueprint before the Maidana fight. Is Malignaggi had no punching power. But guess what? When you're throwing punches, even a light puncher, when you're throwing punches, he's not going to throw back because he's not a counterpuncher. So Maidana saw that. Maidana took full advantage of it.
And when he threw it to the body, he was really good at blocking those punches, but he left himself open upstairs, man. Another thing we found out, and I think they knew it, is Broner's really good at blocking those first two punches.
Yeah.
The 3, 4, 5, 6, it's a different story. And then, of course, the good old-fashioned Maidana.
It's like that with pretty much everybody. But the issue is, the thing is, great counter punches stop you before you get to 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, look at Mayweather. Mayweather's going to block 1 and 2. By the time you try to throw 3, guess what? You got the hiccups. Your head's about to snap back because Mayweather's about to hit you with a counter. The thing is, Broner's going to let you get off 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the feet of Mayweather.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean? So Mayweather, it comes with the feet as well, man. But that actually led to Maidana getting his big paydays with Mayweather. You know, it led to some big stuff for him. And then he was done. I'm surprised he was done. I think he could have gotten some more paydays, but, you know, he's fat. He's in Argentina, and he's smoking cigars.
He's living it up. He's jet skiing down there, doing everything. But they were actually talking about him recently, I think earlier this year or last year, possibly making a comeback. But they quickly put an end to that because he just can't stay in shape. But, yeah.
I think he quit day 1 of training camp.
Yeah, and it was odd that he abruptly retired, but like I said, he got his payday and got out of there. Props to him. You know, he didn't take too much damage later in his career like a lot of fighters do, and he got out and he's happy. But that first Mayweather fight, I just go back to it. It was an odd fight. It was an odd fight because it was almost like Mayweather never studies his fighters, or at least he says he doesn't before the fight, and he was just taken aback, I think, by some of the awkward punches. I mean, like I said, he was throwing, as I call it, a downer cut. I mean, he was throwing punches from weird angles, and Mayweather just was not used to that. And you didn't see the sharp Mayweather counter puncher in that first fight that you did in the second fight.
Yeah, it's interesting. You want to see Maidana in bare knuckle boxing?
Yes, let's see that. And I still want to see Randall Bailey in bare knuckle boxing. I'm sad that he didn't get his fight in the bare knuckle boxing. I don't know what happened with that. I didn't hear the story of why he didn't fight, but I was looking forward to seeing him snatch somebody's soul.
I want to ask you this before you go. Paulo Malignaggi's out here complaining. He broke his hands. I told everybody he's going to break his fucking hands. His left is swollen up and his right hand's broken, but he's telling everybody that people need to understand that he really won the fight and that people don't know how to score. They have to consider the fact that he had a broken hand. What are your thoughts about that?
I don't care. I'm sick of Malignaggi. He's always got something to say. Look, Malignaggi is a great analyst on Showtime. That's his thing. He needs to stay there. The fighting days are over. He did a great job for a guy who can't punch. I mean, one of the best up jabs that I've seen in modern boxing. He had a great up jab for a guy with no power, like literally no power. And I don't say that to make fun of him. Like he literally had no power, but his footwork was great, and his up jab was great. In order to keep him in there with some really good, great fighters of his day. The Cotto fight, he was in that fight, although Cotto was weight drained at 140, late at 140. He didn't do so well against Hatton. But look at the Juan Diaz fights. I mean, Juan Diaz was a decent fighter. He surprised Juan Diaz in both those. I thought he won both of those fights. So he did good in his career. He needs to give it up, man. I'm just tired of hearing him at this point. The point is, nobody really cares if he won that fight or not. Nobody wants to see what we saw in that fight. Is not what we want to see in bare knuckle boxing. We want to see guys just go in there and hit each other, and that's not what Malignaggi is going to give. Malignaggi in bare knuckle boxing just made no sense, none. And he needs to stop angling his way into this Conor McGregor fight. Conor McGregor doesn't even know he exists at this point. It's like one of those mosquitoes that keeps bothering you. Conor McGregor does not care about Malignaggi. Malignaggi needs to get that through his head.
Well, I think he's making a fool out of himself. You know, that's what I think. You know,
he's a great analyst. If he would just stick to that, man, he's one of the best analysts out there. If you watch him call a fight, I think that Showtime crew is really good. One of the best crews out there, if not the best crew out there. So he's really good at that.
Well, you don't like Sergio Mora with the Zone?
Not a Sergio Mora fan, as far as calling fights, to be honest.
Did you like him as a fighter too, or what?
I did coming out of the Contender. And that's why I wanted to see Brandon Adams do well against Charlo the other night is I want to see these contender guys do well. I like the contender series. I don't know if people caught this last contender series. Brandon Adams beat Shane Mosley Jr. in the championship, and Brandon Adams fought Charlo the other night, and he disappointed. I want to see the contender go back to what it was in that first season when you had Sergio Mora come out of that, Peter Manfredo Jr. and guys like Jesse Brinkley. You had some good fighters in that. I mean, even later seasons, you had Saki Obika, K9 Bundridge, Stevie Forbes, who actually got a fight with Oscar De La Hoya and was training with Mayweather. I want to see more guys like that coming out and getting shots and getting their name out there and getting their stories out there. And Sergio Mora was one of those guys. And he actually was in some decent fights around that time. I mean, I thought both the Peter Manfredo fights were pretty good. I thought his first fight with Vernon Forrest, he fought a great fight. A great fight. He beat a great fighter. That was a legit title that he won, a legit championship. But unfortunately, it all went downhill after that. I don't know if that Vernon Forrest loss got in his head, the second one, because that Shane Mosley fight was just terrible. Just terrible. And whatever fanhood I had of him, I lost that during that night because that was one of the worst fights I've ever seen.
Well, I do want to thank you, Calix. This is the hour, guys. You guys can catch Calix here on DStyleBoxing every Wednesday. We've got a lot to talk about. Next week's a little more loaded than this one. But any final thoughts? And tell everybody where they can find you really quick.
Yeah, man, go find me on Calix Boxing, CALIX Boxing, here on YouTube. I'm starting to get more active. I'm going to get more active next week as well. So go check out Calix Boxing. And, yeah, like I would say, I'm looking forward to Pacquiao versus Thurman coming up in a couple weeks, and looking forward to seeing where Canelo goes next. And hopefully we get an announcement on that pretty soon.
Absolutely, man. See you next week.
Peace.
Peace. Whoa. I don't know if I'm going to stay a little longer here, guys. I want to go over some of the comments really quick. All right. Calix, give us his hour. All right. Make sure you guys throw a jab at that like button, or I swear to God, I'm going to tell Floyd Sr., bro. I swear to God, I'm going to tell him. Floyd, come here. These guys, I'm telling you, man, I don't know what's going on. I just don't know. I don't know. He's shaking his head. Look at this. The dude's shaking his head. He's wondering what the hell's going on. All right. I need you to just tell these guys, bro. I need you to tell them, Floyd. Okay. This just tell them how it is. Tell them.
Look, man, you can knock this son of a bitch out right now. Now quit wasting time, man. Use your fucking jab, man. Use your jab.
Use your jab. Throw a jab at that like button if you're listening now. Throw a jab at that like button if you're listening on archive. Okay, let me go over some of these comments really quick. Paulie P-O-L-Y did disgrace boxing, but he actually won the fucking fight. I agree, Batman, to it. He did win if you score it the way you're supposed to score things. Artem Lobov did not land as much as people act like he did. Okay, all that damage in Paulie's face. It was something that happened in the clinch, and you know, you can't really judge it that way. But you know, nobody's feeling bad for Paulie. Okay, not on these parts. Okay, Conor McGregor's making money selling liquors is 8810. Boxing Dialogue says Paulie disgraced boxing. Absolutely. All right, Madonna's not going to come back, says the boxing historian. Absolutely not. Tim Gallegos wants Glenn Johnson. I just think Glenn Johnson's too old. Batman tweet, Tim, can't forget about Glenn. I was mad at him for 10 years after the Roy Jones fight. Yep. Knocked Roy out. Batman tweet says, Calix. Nelson Santos says, smash that loving like button, folks. Smash it. Throw a jab. You're just coming in. Throw a jab at the like button. Quick. All right. I want to tell you guys, let me tell you something. All right. No, but these styles, you don't understand these styles because it's just, you know, hitting the like button, these styles. Just, I have to like move my thumb over to the like button. It's just too much work, these styles. You don't understand these styles. Batman tweets you a little bit. Let me tell you, man. And if you guys look, I understand, man. Like, I get it. It's look, I get it. All right. First of all, donations to the DStyleBoxing Fund is always welcome. All right. And I appreciate that. Batman tweet donated earlier. It's always welcome. All right. And DStyleBoxing@gmail.com. You can donate, to the channel that way. I'm asking for $1 a month from my subscribers. $1. I want you to think about how you spent $1 this last month and compare it to what I give you. All right. We have 4 live shows, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, every week. Right? Once in a while, shit happens. We don't got to do a show. I do random live feeds. I do DStyle Reacts. I'm going to be working on these short stories, like the Basie Moreno story. You guys can check that out. I do play-by-plays on the weekends. I do post-fight reactions on the weekend. I do boxing stories on Sundays. Now, if you can't donate, all right, pressing the like button supports the channel because it puts the videos more out there. More people subscribe, more people start liking. It's a never-ending cycle. They hit the bell button, they're notified. Everything is monetized. All right. Okay, everything is monetized. So you still, even if you have YouTube Red, have you spent a certain amount of hours a week listening to DStyleBoxing or minutes, whatever it is, a percentage of what you pay for that subscription goes to me, right? Even if it's 10 cents, but it goes to me. When an ad plays, instead of clicking skip, sure, if it's like 2 minutes long, skip the shit, right? But if you see it's a 10-second, it's going to be another 10, 15 seconds. Let it play all the way. You can support the channel that way. You can share the videos. Share them with your friends. Share them with your family. Just share them. Share the videos and get the word out. That's what you can do. What can I do? That's what you could do. Tim Guy wants to mail a donation. You can do, as of right now, I'm going to work on, getting some links where you guys could donate. But right now, it's through PayPal or through Super Chat here on YouTube. Those are 2 ways. You see that dollar sign on the right side of the chat? That's how you could donate, right? I'm not asking anybody to break bank supporting the channel. So why should he support it? Well, why? Why should I do it? Well, because 1, I spend time doing this. Time is a it's the most valuable thing you give somebody, your time. That's 1. That's why I appreciate you guys that are here listening and those that listen, because I know you're giving me your time. All right? I appreciate that. You're taking the time to like it. I appreciate it. There's going to be some big things coming with this channel, man. A lot. Like, I'm letting this hangout thing right out. But everything you donate to the channel comes back to the channel. Okay, DStyle's not going out partying and, like, oh, well, what's DStyle going to do with the money? He's going to go buy Conor McGregor's liquor bottle and go party? No, bro. All right? It all goes back to the channel. All of it. All of it. I'm just waiting for that YouTube money to come in. Bam, new laptop, bro. We're going to have a faster laptop, all right, which is necessary. My other laptop went bye-bye. I'm using an old laptop right now. And what's going to be used for? For the YouTube channel. To get a mixer. I'm going to need a mixer when this hangout thing is gone. I want to have co-hosts and stuff like that. All right? So it all takes time. So you don't have to directly give money. There's other ways to support the channel that you can support. AJ10 is a fact checker. That's supporting the channel. All right. Bam Bam tweet, make sure something's factual. That's taking time, okay, to make sure that whatever's being said on here is accurate. So there's many ways to contribute. It's not all about money. It just isn't. All right. Old school says, "Guy, I'm just getting out of jail and transition back into society. Recovering alcoholic here. I'll donate soon." Hey man, that's good to hear, bro, and we're glad to have you here. And how did you find the channel? Was it because I know, like, I'll send links on Twitter. I'll get people from Twitter. I'll get people from other social media platforms or from YouTube. So I'm just curious on how you found this channel. But hey, Tim, I'll cover your portion. Says Bam Bam Tweed. And Nelson Santos here. You're rinsing. I have to unrinse everybody because it's a long story, bro. But there was a lot of crazy shit was going on. Like, I lost 100 subscribers in a minute. All right. And I was looking at my analytics, and I'm like, how the fuck did I lose this many subscribers? And I was looking at like, I know the numbers. And I was like, that's weird. So I thought, well, maybe it's just a bunch of inactive. But then Haplotype texted me, say, hey, I'm not subscribed to you no more. I had to subscribe back. And, you know, so I'm not saying somebody with a wrench did that, but I just had to, like, clean house right away. Okay. And it's just a long story. I saw people blocked that shouldn't be blocked. All right. So that wasn't cool. It's just a long story. Batman Tweet wants to challenge everybody to do $5 a month. If you guys can, man, if you can. All right. It's, you know, a lot of people don't like to, you know, they want it to be private. Fine. It could be private. It could be, you know, whatever you guys want. All right. Evil Green, welcome and salute. Random in your feet, Tim. Well, I'm glad he found it. If you haven't checked out Scrapbook, there's other great channels out here that you can also listen to. Okay. But I'm glad. I'm glad you found a channel. I see you're a regular in the chat. All right. I'm hitting the like button and watching every video. Absolutely. Has Nelson Santos jabbed the like button? DStyle wants to know. All right. DStyle wants to know. We're going to have a new initiative too, okay? We're going to have different initiatives, guys. But those just coming in, as you're coming in, throw a jab at the like button, right? Don't forget about the polls, okay? Go to the community page. Scroll down, man. We have who are we going to appreciate next week? Who are we going to appreciate? It's a three-way dance. The Clintons were eliminated last week. They got less than 10% of the vote. We got Bradley. In fact, let me go check. Let me check right now how that's looking, man. I haven't checked it in a while. So let's take a look right now. Right? Let me go to my channel. Let's take a quick look. If you guys want to look with me, let's look right now. All right. There's 72 votes in the three-way dance right now. Cotto is ahead with 35% of the votes. Bernard Hopkins has 33% of the votes. Timothy Bradley with 32% of the votes. This one's going to come down to the wire. The polls close Friday, midnight. Well, why should I vote? Because we do an appreciation week for these fighters. All right. And then we got the qualifier. We scroll more down. 57 votes so far. Ronald Wright with 25%. Frotz with 14%. Morales with 44%. Punisher Williams with 18%. Morales has a decisive lead right now. However, it's not over. The polls close pretty soon. All right. I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to take the polls to an independent website. That way we can share the links, and I can put the links under my videos and all that. You guys can check that out, right? You can check that out. So go, you vote. Just go ahead and do that. Don't be shy. Let your voice be heard by just pressing a button. It's a beautiful thing. I don't even want to tell. Like, I want Bernard Hopkins to win, but you know, it's not about what I want. All right. It's not about what I want. Oh, but DStyle's your channel. Of course it is. All right. I just dropped a hint. Let me bring this shit back up here. And right now, Fanon International Boxing Channel with a $30 donation to the DStyleBoxing Fund. He says, that is my $1 a day for the month. Look at that. He just donated $1 a day. Look at that. $1 a day for a month. Big shout out to Fanon International Boxing Channel. All right. I heard Ashley was over there with you dudes, man. You know, I got to call Ashley, actually. Hopefully I could get him here tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll see. I had to cancel last week and my fucking laptop went to shit. I have no idea what happened to it. Right? So I'm using this piece of shit right now, but this piece of shit gets the job done. Look at this. It gets the job done. So I can't talk too much shit. All right. This laptop's from 2015, bro. It's my backup laptop. That's a good thing I have one, obviously. I have these nice monitors, by the way. So I'm debating whether to get a laptop or a computer. All right. We're going to be getting a banner. Once this is the end of, Hangouts is almost done. It's almost done. And I have big plans for this channel starting in August. Right? Big plans. Now, it's not going to be on the 1st of, I don't want to see anybody on the 1st of August. DStyle, where the fuck you at? You said all these big plans are like chill. Right? It's going to be over time. Chill. All right? Just relax. But starting in August, okay, I'm going to start sounding like those politicians. Day one. This, no, but we're going to start, obviously Hangouts is gone. Right? So we're going to have to be using Skype and, we're going to make it look nice and a little more professional. A lot of changes. All right? A lot of stuff. I like this logo, by the way. I love this logo. I messed around a little bit. Look at that. DStyleBoxing with that Mexican eagle. Right? El Águila. Just like that. All right, let's see here. Batman Tweet says this is how we found a channel, and Batman Tweet's like a regular now. It's good to see. All right? Good to see, man. This is a cool dude, bro. I don't think I have much to say, guys, right now. We went over a lot. Those that came in late, you could go back and you can listen to the rest on archive. Although look, you know what? Before I go, I got to shit on Paulie. I got to do it. I was going to do a separate video about him. I might do it still, but I got to shit on Paulie, bro. Paulie Malignaggi is a fucking embarrassment, dude. He is an embarrassment. Paulie Malignaggi is an embarrassment to the sport. Okay? An embarrassment. I just saw a video of him. Several guys have the video. You can go to a Barbershop Conversation. He has it. Okay. Go to Fight Hub. They have it. Okay. But I don't remember his Fight Hub but just go to Barbershop Conversation. He has a video. Paulie's right there. Paulie has this dude has both his hands are fucked up. Okay. That's number one. I could have told you his hands were going to get fucked up. I could have said that. I did say that. I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking. I have the video evidence. I told you guys, this dude's going to go on, break his hand, and embarrass the damn sport. I told you. I said it, and I'll say it again. I mean, what an embarrassment. He's going around. It's one thing to go out there and lose. It's another thing for him, first of all, to walk around like, do I believe he won the fight? Yes. Was it as one-sided as he makes it seem? No. I scored it 3 rounds to 2. That's not like going away with it, dude. That's not. And you were getting hit, okay, especially on the inside. But leaving that aside, let me say this to you, Paulie Malignaggi. No, you know, these hillbillies. I mean, they don't even know. I mean, the thing is, I was moving, and they don't even consider. I mean, they don't even consider that I broke my hand, bro. I broke my hand, bro, and I still give them a fight, bro. They don't even consider that when they score it. Well, what does that even fucking mean? What do you mean you broke your hand? So we have to consider the fact that you broke your hand and made adjustments. Therefore, we have to somehow score that in the fight. The fuck are you talking about? You just lost one of your weapons. What do you mean? You don't get extra points because now you're fighting with an broken hand. You fucking blithering idiot. I mean, the truth is, I was fighting, and I was with what's the dude's name again? What's the dude that beat him again? I forgot the dude's name, man. I forgot this dude's name, bro. Like fucking. God damn, I can't remember his name. The Russian dude or whatever. It's not him, man. It's not him, man. Let me tell you something, man. I mean, I respect him, man. But the truth is, he's making his money. I hope he makes more money. But let me tell you something. I mean, I broke my hand, bro. Look at this shit, bro. I broke my right hand, bro, and I couldn't throw it no more, bro. I mean, it's you got to understand. In the third round, I tripped, bro. I tripped doing defensive move. That's the only thing that happened in that round. I lost the round. Shut up. Artem. I mean, Artem is a good guy. I hope Artem does good for himself. I have fond respect for the guy. But the truth is, he let like two punches the whole fight. Like, shut up. Go around, break your hand, embarrass boxing and shit, and fucking one hand swollen, and somehow you're trying to convince people that you really want to fight because you broke your hand, bro. Fuck you, bro. How about that? Fuck you. All right? And by the way, let me take this moment. No, but let me tell you something. What do you understand, this style? Is that you don't understand? Is that I broke my hand, bro? Okay, I mean, if you break your hand, okay, in MMA when they break their hands, this is what they do, bro. They do this, bro. This dude is comparing breaking your hand in a bare knuckle fight, like injuring your hand, your fucking fist. He's comparing that to getting caught in an arm bar in MMA, so dudes tap out. Okay, it's not the same thing, bro. Okay, bro? Let me tell you something, bro. I mean, in this sport, bro. I mean, they just go around, bro. I mean, they just tap out, bro. I mean, shut the fuck up. They got no balls, bro. They got no balls. If Paulie wants to prove that he's got balls, then go to a fucking cage, motherfucker, and do that. All right? Go to a cage and fight an MMA fighter in a cage, and don't tap out when they get you in a fucking armbar so they can fucking yank it off your fucking shoulder, you fucking blithering idiot. It's not the same thing. Like, get the fuck out of here. He's making the sport look bad. And for the MMA fans. No, but this style. It's that you don't understand this style. It's that, shut the fuck up, Paulie. Paulie, I'm done with you. Get the fuck out of here. No, but let me tell you something. I mean, the truth is, if let me tell you something to the live listeners right now, this style. Okay, if I didn't break my right hand, okay, let me tell you something. I would have dominated that fight. I mean, the reality is, I wanted to put on a show. I'm not like them. Okay, I don't do this. Okay, I don't do that. Okay, I went out there and I broke my hand. You got to consider that. These hillbillies, they didn't know how to score the fight. Okay, shut the fuck up, Paulie. Get the fuck over there, Paulie. Go sit your ass down in that corner. Thank you, Paulie. You sit your ass down. I'm done with Paulie Malignaggi. I don't want to hear from you no more, Paulie. Well, one more thing. Hold on. Okay, let me tell you something. Okay, the truth is that if Connor, okay, wants to fight me, let me tell you something. He didn't beat me up in that sparring session, man. Okay, the truth is all those pictures that came out, they were true, bro. I mean, the real, I did the beating, bro. Okay, I beat him up. I was the one that was putting the beating on him. But why did they really say for this? Get the fuck over there, Paulie. Paulie, sit down in your corner and stay there. Paulie, I don't want to hear from you anymore. Enough is to sit down. No, but let me tell you one more thing. Let me tell you something. Okay, before you go off the air, D-Style. Okay, the reality is that if Connor or Artem, if they fight me, let me tell you something, bro. I'll show them balls, bro. Okay, I got balls. Okay, well, I got balls. I got character.
That's why I dated that bitch Jessica. Okay, and I beat her. Well, I slept with her in bed. Okay, she was his side piece. Get the fuck out of here, Paulie. Go sit your ass down in that corner right now. I'm done. I'm done with Paulie Malignaggi. I don't want to hear from Paulie Malignaggi anymore. Okay, Mayorga, come here. Can you tell Paulie Malignaggi? Can you tell him in Spanish that he has hands of a bitch? Can you tell him that? Come here, Mayorga, come here. He's a little shy today, guys. Mayorga's a little shy. Me dijo algo. Esto es boxeo. Él tiene mano de niña chiquita. Y yo tengo mano de hombre. Por eso si yo peleo con Paulie Malignaggi, okay, en este pinche, en esa madre de esos pendejos que pelean sin los guantes, eso era para mí. ¿Por qué no me hablan a mí? Yo, Artem, yo quiero pelear con Artem. Yo le voy a enseñar que yo soy el hombre y él es la mujer. Yo se lo voy a enseñar. Porque ahora no me van a tumbar en el piso. Así, pinches mocosos, parecen jotos y me tiran en el piso. Aquí, esto es boxeo. All right, get over there, Mayorga. Mayorga, you got a little carried away. You're going to make me go lose my AdSense and shit. Get over there. All right? I'm not even going to translate what this dude was saying about a certain community. I'm not going to say that. But I will say that it said Paulie has bitch hands. Right? And that he wants to fight Artem himself. Mayorga wants to fight Artem. He said he's going to be the man and Artem's going to be the woman. Okay, he'll show everybody in that fight. That's what he just said. All right? Hey, can I say one thing? Let me tell you, I don't appreciate that, okay? Let me tell you something. Guys like Mayorga, they had no skill, bro. They got no skill, bro. Hadn't had no skill, bro. Okay? Hadn't beat you, Paulie. Hadn't beat your ass. No, but Porter, no skill, bro. Porter, he only beat me, bro, because get the fuck over there, Paulie. All right? Before Mayorga beats your ass. Get the fuck over there. Right? Where are we now? Where are we now? Let me tell you something. Well, where are we right now? Oh, man. Anyway, I just, Paulie and Mayorga, the same room doesn't work out. Okay? I don't know what the hell's going on here. Okay. Hey, Triple G, come here. Let me ask you something. How would Triple G... Does the chat want to know what Triple G thought about the Paulie Malignaggi Artem fight or not? Maybe the chat doesn't care. I got to ask chat, Triple G. All right? Batman tweet says, Paulie fuck off his legacy and bit kind of like James Toney fucked his legacy a little bit. Nah, because James Toney didn't get beat in fisticuffs. He got taken down. He was choked out. That's different. Right? That's different. Paulie got beat by an MMA fighter in a bare knuckle fight. He disgraced himself. Right? Just like Tim Silva disgraced himself in an MMA match getting knocked out by Ray Mercer. Okay, and before you MMA dudes try to take credit for the Kimbo win, Kimbo was a bare knuckle boxer, bro. Okay, so I don't even want to hear that. Okay. Paulie won't ever be a absolutely not. Absolutely not. At Triple G, they don't want to hear from you, bro. So like nobody's saying, I want to hear from Triple G. Okay, maybe Canelo has something to say. Canelo, come here. Mira, es que sí, mucho negativo. Es que todos son bien negativos contra mí. Well, what do you mean? Who's being negative with you? Like, I just say I want your thoughts on this bare knuckle thing, and I thought about how I'm being negative towards you. Like, chill, bro. Okay, chill. Did anybody hear me say something negative about Canelo? Canelo, let me ask you this. Canelo. So since you brought it up, are you gonna fight Charlo? Are you gonna do that fight? No, mira, otra vez, todo negativo. Todo negativo contra mí. ¿Yo qué hice? Yo nomás quiero pelear con todos los mejores. pero tú tienes que entender que esto es un negocio. Esto es un negocio. Canelo just said that I'm just being negative and that he just wants positive vibes and that we need to understand that boxing is a business. Okay, that's what he said. That's a standard answer about everything. Yes. Nobody says shit to you, Triple G. Get the fuck over there. Okay? Get your ass over there, Triple G. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. Paulie, he ring, it's his box, but no, the gloves, no gloves, it's his box, the training cup, his box. All right, this is boxing. All right. That's enough of him. Okay, that's enough of. That is enough of Triple G, man. Oh man. Anyway, we went overtime for sure on this show. All right, we did. Estos boxeo, but if you're listening in archive, you throw a jab at that button. If you're listening live right now, throw a jab. Throw a jab before we're out. This is DStyleBoxing. And I want you to do one thing. Because I'm going to take a guess. So I'm going to take a wild guess. That if this is DStyleBoxing, then how do we end this show? How do we end this show? Well, what do we say? When we say this is DStyleBoxing, we say I almost butchered my own fucking. Thank you, Nelson Santos. We say keep it boxing. I'm out.